Hey guys, it's Brandon here for RC Flight School. Today I'm giving you my Afterflight review on the Sbach from E-flite. Got a chance to put about 5 charges through her and took her up on a few different kind of conditions, and so I got a pretty good idea of how she handles. My first impressions for this plane are all about the radio. If you don't have a computer radio, you probably aren't going to want to try to fly this plane at all. And they do recommend right in the box here that you have a radio that can do dual rates and expo. Now I set it up to a T to the instructions with the proper dual rates and expo that they recommended, and without that I'd say this thing would be next to inflyable. Having such a small airframe and so much power, it's very twitchy, very touchy, so you got to have a radio that's able to kind of tune that down and make it easier to fly. So that being said, once you have a radio like that, I did like the settings that they recommended. It was a great starting point. Obviously pilots are going to kind of mess around with the settings as they please to how they like their personal flying style, but it was a really good starting point. A few things to note. Battery placement is absolutely key on these, and when I did the unboxing I showed you guys that they do have a battery tray that allows you to slide the battery back and forth to find the optimal weight distribution for center of gravity. That is absolutely key on a small plane like this, especially one that's very acrobatic and almost borderline 3D flying. I had to play around with it quite a bit to find the battery placement I liked. Things like wind shifting and the different surfaces I might have been taken off of made a little bit of difference on where I wanted to place the battery. So when you're taking this thing out for the first time, make sure you take the time, mess around with different battery placements. It can make a huge difference for how she flies and how it performs in terms of acrobatics. Also, side force generators. These two little guys, and they do give you 2 sets of these, slide right onto the wings, like so. And this provides a greater surface area, so when you're rolled like this, 90 degrees from the normal way, you have a little bit more surface area, or almost like a wing, to hold it in that position. These make a huge difference when you're doing things like knife edge. This is a knife edge maneuver when it's sideways like that, as well as other acrobatics. They can help or hurt depending on how you fly and the acrobatics you do. So like I said, they give you 2 different sets of these little guys, and play around with those. I'm actually going to be cutting out my own because I want to play around with a much larger or much smaller area to see how the plane behaves. Again, when you're dealing with a small acrobatic plane like this, tiny little details make a huge difference for flying. So try those out, see if you like them. You may fly without them, you may fly with them. That's really up to you. Wind is another factor. Obviously, small, light plane, very powerful. The wind really pushed it around quite a bit, and not so much wind, but wind gusts. When you're dealing with a very small wing area, that's the total surface area of your wings, the things that provide your lift. Wind gusts and turbulence can really affect a plane of this size. And I noted that quite a bit, so if you're flying near tree lines or obstacles, anything that can allow wind to come in and get churned up a little bit, you're going to notice the plane's going to react very funny to that. So you're going to want to fly in a very open area, no obstacles, nothing in your way to chop up the wind for you. Very important. Besides that, the power system on it. I can see there being plenty of room for upgrades for these. It has a 2500 kV motor. That's got plenty of power, but most of that power is in speed. I mean, this thing does easily, I'd say, almost 40 miles an hour. A small plane like this makes it difficult for us to shoot and difficult to learn how to control it properly, because a plane like this you want to do slow speed acrobatics, loops, rolls, hovering off the prop and things like that. When you have so much speed potential, it kind of wants to pull out of it the maneuvers and just kind of shoot like a dart. So I think there'll be plenty of room for options. We'll be dealing with different prop options, maybe even a different motor or 2. We'll see how that goes in the future, but that's my take on it for the first 5 flights. Now we'll probably do more reviews later. We'll give you a few tutorials, things we're doing for upgrading and whatnot, but that's my first out-of-the-box review. If you guys have any questions or you've had a few experiences with this plane and you got recommendations, comment below. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about it. Thanks for watching this video. We'll talk to you guys soon.